So today we are looking at fullbacks. We have got an elite level of players coming in, and some of them that are going into Evos, some of them that are just in general very, very good players. Just to get the Evos out the way, there isn't actually that many to go through, to be honest, because we're starting to see a ramp up. We're starting to see potential shapeshifters going into them, and strikers have been on that list massively. There is obviously notorious defensive one. If we do go further down, you might be able to kind of get a glimpse as more of a defender. If anything, I think we are going to be due a fullback one very, very soon, whether that's going to be this week or next. It looks like we've obviously got club member awards, so it's going to be very far and few when it comes to which upgrade we're going to see from them. But if we do kind of get one in each list, personally for me, if I was thinking of a miss at this point, I'd be thinking Lucy Bronze. Just don't really fancy it on the kind of global scale of what we've got. If I was thinking usable and going in for potentially an option, I'd possibly be looking at maybe something like a Trent. If we're going Evo, obviously we'll go with Teo Hernandez. If we're going very usable, I'm thinking more along the lines of potentially a DeMarco. And then in the absolute top of the top, someone like a Dumfries. That's kind of the level that I'm thinking. When we look at the top of the top, there is a few options that you can go with, but I must admit, there isn't necessarily like a standout left back or right back. It is very much a very kind of different amount of players. We've got a lot of high rated players, good play style pluses, the standards. When we look at the Evos, you've obviously got the Carl Walkers, the Roberto Carloses, the Furlan Mendes. Players that, yes, would still be able to do something. Like, you could definitely start these players and they'd be fine. But because they're in such an Evo heavy category now where 89, 91, 90, whatever the next fullback comes out, they will be able to go into it straight away unless you have Evo'd them in the past. So you know full well them cards can be upgraded as well straight away. If I was looking kind of in the top meta, again, you're looking at someone like Hakimi. If I was dropping it down, Beckham is a very good card. Is most definitely a solid SBC. I was wondering if he was in the most popular, but he's a solid SBC. He's just not in the absolute top for me, and I think that just comes down to some shapeshifters work, some don't, and fullbacks are going to be a tricky one, because if we think of Beckham in that centre mid, that CDM role, he works really well. If it was to take a striker and put him at a centre back or a fullback, you probably want him as a striker. It'd be like putting an Mbappe as a left back. He'd probably be insane. The stats will work out really well, but he's better in that striking role. So shapeshifters are that little bit more difficult. If again we was kind of looking at a miss, Zanetti, I would say is probably past it. You could get away with Zambrotta. I must admit he's probably in that Evo category now of a 93. Is just going to be across that line in my opinion. As we then kind of look through a few of the others, you've got the likes of Carvajal and a few of the other team of the years that we'll get to in a second. But he was looking at someone like a Militao, he would be probably more of my Evo. Again, you could probably get some use out of these. Like Teo Hernandez is still one of the best left backs you can physically get. But naturally you want to get him to the highest rated possible. Same as someone like a Cafu. Could definitely still use him, but he wants to be Evo'd at some point soon. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics, and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. And it's always interesting when you do go into your fullbacks and kind of look at your price points for them, because naturally they're expensive but not crazy. Like we look at the top and they are going to be more of your kind of upgraded cards that we saw recently with the it's the Nations Cup or whatever it is. You've obviously got the João Pedro or João Neves. Don't understand why he's a right back. You've got him here just in the two different versions. You've obviously got Semedo, you've got yourself a João Neves, and you've got yourself a Nuno Mendes. Now obviously with Semedo, he's going to be a bit further down. He's still coming in at a cracking price. Well, I mean, he's not. But you've obviously keep going down. He's coming in lower than that. I don't even know where he is. We'll have a look at him in a second. There he is at 293. Now, as a 96, it's not a bad price whatsoever for him. 293, quick step, slide tackle, intercept. I mean, it's standard. It's a very usable card. Now, would you kind of take him over a João Neves? João Neves is a funny one because he's got such a good centre mid and he can still play centre mid. It's almost like you're giving the card rating a very good score, but you know no one's playing him at right back. He's always going to be in that centre mid. Even if you look at the 96, the stats wise are very similar in terms of aspects, but is going to be better on the defensiveness there. So realistically, he is in the top meta, but you more than likely don't put this card as a right back. He's going to go into that centre mid quite comfortably every single time. And then we do have Nuno Mendes, who's got multiple cards. We've obviously got the 97. This is João Neves' problem as well. You've obviously got the Nuno Mendes 97. He's got himself the 96 for winning the Champions League. He then has a 95 team of the season and a 93 Dream Chasers as well. He has had a busy couple of weeks, and before that, he only had a winter wild card. So he's literally had 4 upgrades of 93, 5, 6, and 7 in the span of about 5 to 6 weeks, whereas before that, in like 3 to 4 months, he had 1, and that was to an 88. So a cracking card in itself. Again, we've got all of the versions from him. He pretty much is in there with most of them. I would say the team of the season was definitely the undermark on this. I would say the Dream Chase and the team of the Dream Chasers and the team of the season would be in that usable to very usable, but most definitely that UCL is going to come into that top category as well. It's quite a simple one in my opinion. We then have the likes of Cancelo, a lot of solid team of the seasons that I do think can do a solid duty. Whether I think the Kirkes, the Koyunde would be in the top, I mean, I've definitely said both. I think you could argue on the day it was to look through the UCLs first, because again, you've got to now compare them to that next upgrade. When we look at the Maldinis, he's going to be in there with Matthias as the kind of Evo sort of language that you need. We do have the Nuno Mendes that we will put into here, and I do think that's an easy list. Obviously Alphonso Davies, to be honest, I think you're probably looking at both of them being in amongst that top of the top. You've obviously got the 96 coming in at 262. He's just an incredible player. In game is phenomenal, whereas the 95 is, again, very similar. Like, you could maybe argue on stats, but realistically, you're kind of putting both of them into at least a topper sort of category. So if it's only one, I would happily go with that 96. When we see then a few more of the kind of lower levels, well, you got Thuram, who's going to go into the top. I mean, that one's quite an easy one. Same as Maldini. But then we've kind of got the Fox. We've got some 96s from the Women's League. Again, they're always arguable if you want to put them in or not. Carvajal, I mean, you could again argue him whether to be very usable or not. I think at this point he's been out so long. He's coming in at 175 now. He's definitely passed that torch on. Playstyle plus wise, he's just that little bit more. Lehman and Grealish, 2 shapeshifters. I must admit, if it weren't for the fact that Grealish has the quadruple playstyle plus, which a lot of players don't, he could potentially be more in the usable, but with them stats upgraded and also the quadruple and also a 5-4, he's going to be up there, really. Now, again, very much like João Neves, you're probably arguing the fact that he's not going to play in that left-back role. He's going to be a centre-mid, which is a bit of a cop-out, I must admit. Like, I know it was kind of more of your winger anyway, but in the centre-mid, it seems like it works pretty well for him, to be fair. He almost is that sort of attacking ball player, and with 5 playstyle pluses coming, you get an incisive on that card. It's absolutely golden. It's a cracking upgrade for him. We then have the likes of Pacho. I mean, he's an easy one. I think he's more of a centre-back, so I don't know why he's doing in that list. He should have been out, but regardless, he's going to be incredible. Anything to mention Pacho, to be honest. Swanson is kind of one of them ones where I think you could argue that you just prefer her in her original position. And I know some shapeshifters work, some don't. But when we do look at her, I mean, she's got the stats of an upgraded right back. But realistically, I'd much rather take her in the attacking role than I would the defensive. You're just going to get better off. So unfortunately for her, I'd probably just miss out because I'd rather go for her better version, in my opinion. We then have Lewis Skelly. We then go into Lala, who I think is incredible for a free card. A free card in the Premium Pass last season, which was fantastic. Anya, we've got McCabe that's going to drop down. I'd say Grimaldo and Gossens. Gossens you could possibly argue even in a miss at this point, to be fair. Frimpong is an easy one. We'll get Di Lorenzo, Koyunde and Alba out the way, as well as Kirkes. Frimpong is an interesting one because he should be higher. He really, really should be higher, but Unfortunately, the playstyle pluses just don't line up for him. The anticipate's fantastic. I'd even take a quick step, but then we need something, even if it's a pinged pass, if it's obviously a slide tackle, a jockey, a press broom, anything other than going technical as well. And I know he can play up and down the wing. I just think if you're looking at him as a right back, it really ruins the card in my opinion. So I'd have to only go usable for him. And to be honest, the price doesn't help at 700. It's a good name, but it's not going to be enough for me. Maicon, if you did manage to get this version, I'd definitely be looking at the Evo. Baude, I'd be looking at the very usable. Renard, to be honest, as a right back, probably a miss. And then we do have the UCLs. Now, I think this is quite clear and cut in my opinion. You've obviously got James, who's up there. I do think Pedro is most definitely up there as well, into at least the top. You have got Undogi, who is phenomenal for this upgrade as a left back. Brilliant. And this is what Frimpong needed. Anything other than having the quick step and the technical. If you had at least a decent amount, it would have worked really well. Pedro Porro obviously coming in as the right back side of stuff. And again, when you do look at all of the kind of Champions League, Europa, Conference, and now the Portuguese, the Champions winners, it's incredible. And whether we do get a Club World Cup version as well, it's going to be very interesting to see. Then we obviously have Spence. We also then have Gusto, who is magnificent in this grouping. And this is why a lot of the team of the seasons are already dropping. He's coming in at 575. And then we also have Cucurella, who was kind of your left back that you kind of wanted to see if he would really kind of sprout some wings and go. And I think he's very much up there. But I do think Reece James and Udogie were the absolute standouts in that list. So that is going to be everybody for right now. Leave it down in the comments. What do you think? Who is your left back and right back? And who are you excited to see in the next few weeks? Peace.